Hello everyone, this is Sumant. In this video, let's discuss map, reduce and filter functions in Python. So let's start with map function. What is map function and in which condition we have to, in which situation we have to use map function? Let's understand those with example. Here I'm just creating a list with some random values. I'm just creating a list with random values, and what the output I required means I just required a list which should contain odd or even, right? See, the first one is 1, right? So it should return odd. Next one is 2. So the list contain even. 3 is odd, right? So it should contain as odd. That's how the output I required. So for that, what we can do, I'm just creating a function with a random name like even odd, like that. I'm just creating a function, and I'm just passing a as an argument for that function. And first we should iterate through the list a, right? So I'm just using for I in a, and if I modulo divided by 2 equal to 0, I said that I required a list of values, like list with even or odd, right? So for that I'm just creating an empty list here, and if this I modulo divided by 2 equal to 0, it means even, right? So I'm just appending even, and similarly else b dot append of odd. So if I just call the function even odd function, and if I just pass the list a, and if I just print b here, you can see it just created a list with odd or even, right? Odd, even, odd, even, like that. It's created a list, right? So in order to do these many steps you have to write. Instead of that, we can just directly use map function. So let's understand that. So what I'm creating is, I'm just assigning some variable. I'm just giving lst. I'm just creating a variable lst, and here I'm just using a map function, map of. If I just see what should be the argument for this function map of, you can see first argument is function, and next argument is iterables, right? It means first we have to specify the function. What function we can specify? Instead of this function, I will create another function, like another simple function, right? Def. I'm just naming the function as x, and here the argument what I'm giving is val. I'm just giving an argument val, and what I'm giving is if val modulo divided by 2 equal to 0, return even, or else return odd. This is a simple function which I have wrote, and here I'm specifying that function x here, and I said you, right, what should be the next input? Iterables, right? You can see the next input is iterables, right? Iterables are nothing but like list or string, tuple, etc. These are iterables, right? So I'm just specifying this list which I have given here, a. I'm just giving a here. Now you can see, if I just use this list here, you can see it just created an object at this memory location. At this memory location, it just created an object. In order to access this object, in order to print that, we can either print it or we can just use list of method. Now if I print it, you can see we got the output which we got here. Same output we got even here. So what this map function does means, first it will just apply this function x. See here we have given this x function, right? And this it will be applied for every element present in this list. So this list, let's print this list here. So this list contain all the values, right? 1 2 3. So what it will do means map function, first it will take this 1 and it will apply this x function x here, and next it will just take the value 2 and it will apply this function x, and what this x function returns even or odd, right? So it will just add to this list, right? So that's about this map function. Here I have defined a custom function, right? Def, I have just created another other function, right? Instead of doing that, even you can write anonymous function or lambda function, right? Instead of this defining separately defining and just mentioning, instead of doing that, we can directly mention the function what you want here, right? So that can be done by using lambda function, and I have already discussed the lambda function in my previous video. If you didn't watch that video, I will give you the link for that in the description. So what we can do means, I'm just creating lambda here, lambda, and first one is arguments, right? What the arguments we have to give? Here we have, I'm just defining val is the argument, like value is the argument, and here we have to mention the function, right? The statement which we want to return, that we have to mention, right? What it should return? First it should return even, right? Even if val modulo divided by 2 equal to 0, right? Else it should return odd, right? This is the lambda function. Instead of mentioning this entire function, I have just mentioned everything in lambda function, and here I have given the argument as like second input, like the iterable. I have given the same list A here. Now if I just print this, and if I just print this again, you can see even now we got the same output. So that's how you can use lambda function instead of writing some custom function here. So let's understand this map with other example, and I'm just using same list A here. I just want square of the numbers, right? I just want square of these numbers, and I have to add this to a new list. So for that, I'm just creating a list, like I'm just creating a list here, and I'm just using list of map function. I'm using here, we have to define the function, right? So I'm just using a lambda. The argument is whatever you want, you can just give. I'm just mentioning x here, and what the output it should return, square of the element, right? So I'm just using square, and what the input for the map function, right? I'm just giving the same a list here, and if I just print this list here, you can see it's just written the list with all the square of these numbers. So that's how you can use this map function. I hope you understood map function, and let's understand reduce function in Python. So let's understand with example, then you can easily understand. I'm just creating a list, random list, right? I'm just creating a random list with random values here, and I'm just similarly I'm just applying, I'm just creating a name list lst, and before using this reduce function, first we have to import that. So I'm just using, we can import that from function tools, right? From this we can just import reduce function. So I'm just importing it, and here I'm just using reduce of, and if you see what should be the input, so similarly you can just see the first input is function we have to give, and next we have to give this sequence that we can give. So I'm just mentioning the function here. I'm just using the same lambda function here, lambda. What I want means I want the sum of all these values, right? Sum of 34, 45, 55 and 27, 29. So for that I'm just creating a lambda. I'm just defining x lambda. I'm just defining a lambda x comma y, and here I'm just giving, right, x plus y. Here the first, while defining lambda function, first we have to give arguments, right? I have given x comma y, and the thing which we want to return is x plus y, the sum of these two values, right? That I have given, and next we have to mention the iterables or sequence. I'm just mentioning a here, right? I'm just mentioning sequence a here, list here, and in order to use the list here, I'm just using reduce of lambda, I'm just given the function x comma y here, and what I have to return is x plus y. The list on which we have to perform this function is on a. So I have given that. If I just run this, and if I just print this list, you can see I got the output as 163, right? So let's decode this reduce, what this reduce function does. So if you see this diagram which is given here, so these are the list of values I have taken, right? 34, 45, 55, 29. What this reduce function do means, first what I have given, the input I have given to the function is x comma y. So first it will take the first two values in the list. What are the first two values in the list? 34 and 45, right? First it will take those two values as x and y, and it will just return x plus y. What's x plus y? 34 plus 45 is 79, right? So 79, and next again it will come, and again it will take x comma y. What the x and y? Now the x is 79 and y is 55, so it will add those two values. Now what we got? 134, and what is remaining? 29. Now x is 134 and y is 29. Now again it will just add this 134 and 29, and finally we got the output as 163, right? So that's why the name reduce. So we just reducing the given sequence. So we have a list, like we have 4 values, right? And we have reduced it to single value here, 163. That's why we call as reduce function. Let's take another example. Like instead of giving these values in the list, I will just give a is equal to, I have taken values like pi, p, y, t is different, like individually I have taken, and if I just pass this to the same function, and if I just run this, you can see I got the final output as Python, right? So it reduced this 6 strings. We have 6 strings, right? I have taken 6 strings, so it reduced it to single string. So that's the use of this reduce function. I hope you got an idea of like how to write this, how to use this reduce function, and what internally this reduce function does. And the next thing which I have to discuss is filter function, right? So from the name itself, you can just understand what filter function does, right? So if you have any, like if there is any list of values, and if you want to separate even numbers from that list, and you can use filter function for doing that. So let's take some random example. I'm just creating a list with random values, and what I have to do means, in this list I have to separate even numbers, right? So what we can do, we can just filter, we can just use this filter function, and we can just filter the even numbers. So let's understand how to use that. So for the filter function, the return statement should be true or false. So let's understand why the return statement should be true or false, why it should not be some other thing. Let's take an example, then we can understand. So I'm just giving a variable list here, and I'm just using filter of method. If you just check what should be the inputs, you can see first one is function, and next input is iterable, means any list or string, and here first we have to mention the function, right? So I'm just using lambda function, and I'm just giving x here, and for first what we have to return, we have to return true, right? True if x modulo divided by 2 equal to 0, or else we have to return false, right? And what should be the next input for this filter method? Like a sequence, right? Iterable. So I'm just giving a here, and if I just print list here, you can see from this list it just filtered the even numbers, right? This list contained both even and odd numbers, so it just filtered out the even numbers. You can see we got only even numbers here. What it will do means, first it will check, we have given the function, right, lambda x, and it will return true if x modulo means if it is an even number, it will return true, or else it will return false. So for whichever condition it returns true, it will take that value and it will be added to the list. So first it will check 1 here. So 1 divided modulo by 2 not equal to 0, right? So it will just this is false, right? So it will just don't add that 1 to the list, and again it will check 23, similar case, and 4 next it will just check this value, and now this is equal to 0, right? This condition is true. So since we got the condition as true, it will just add that value to the list. So that how we can use this filter. It means filter from the list of whatever you want, we can just mention the condition, and similar way we can just get the filtered output. So that's the use of this filter. So that's why I said we have to use true or false while, like, we have to return true or false while using this filter function. So I hope you got an overall idea of this map, reduce and filter functions. These are very much useful when we are writing and we want to write an efficient code. Like, instead of writing lines and lines of code, like, you can just mention, we can write those within single line. So that's the use of this map, reduce and filter. I hope you understand everything about these functions. If you feel this video is helpful for you, like the video and feel free to share your feedback, or if you have any doubt, feel free to share that in the comment section. Thanks for watching.